Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. That is what we are striving for every single day. And today we're going to be talking about establishing boundaries with yourself. And the little tag I put on the side of that was limit yourself with love. But before we dive into that, I do want to invite you to come say hi to me and let's become internet friends. Over on my Instagram, I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or if you'd rather send me an email, that's totally fine too. You can send it to realpositiveGirlPodcast@gmail.com. All of that information is available for you in the show notes below. But like I said, today we are talking about establishing boundaries with yourself. So let's just jump right in. I have spoken many times, many times. If you're not new here, then you will know. If you go way back into the ether of the show, I've spoken many times about having boundaries with other people. It's important to have those personal boundaries, but I think it's time we spoke about having boundaries with ourselves. And you might think that's the same thing. It's not, because personal boundaries, traditionally you're setting boundaries with other people so that you can keep yourself whole as one. And I want to talk about setting boundaries for ourselves specifically. And this might sound like a weird concept because it sounds like we would be limiting ourselves, which also kind of comes back to my little tag of limit yourself with love. It sounds like we'd be limiting ourselves by creating boundaries for ourselves, which isn't the message that is being passed around in today's society. A lot of the messages don't limit yourself, push yourself, do all of the things. But actually, having limits and sort of a set of rules for yourself can help you feel safe and in an already established mindset of what is best for you and what will serve you well in your current season of life, of course, because I wanted to make sure I made the caveat of your current season of life, because seasons change, right? I am currently going through a change of season of life, which is crazy because for me in the past, I feel like it wasn't every year that I would move into a new season of life, or at least that I would notice. It's highly possible that that is what's happening, and I just missed it. But last year, I definitely moved into a new season of life, like our whole family did. And now we're doing it again. And it's very interesting to realize how things are changing and how much we've grown and how exciting it is and how amazing it is. But I just wanted to put that caveat on there because the limits that you have, that you set for yourself, the boundaries that you have for yourself, even for other people, and what will serve you best can change season to season, very much dependent on how much you've grown and changed and what is most important to you. So just wanted to put that out there. But I think one of the reasons I like boundaries so much, because again, I've talked about it many times and all the time, but I like them so much is because I am a lover of rules. I am. And, I was actually briefly looking at personality types because I feel like for the longest time, people thought that I'm a type A, and I thought I was too. But then when I actually started digging into it, I'm actually a type C because it leans more into people pleasing and perfectionism. And type C's actually love following rules. And so I was like, that is me. Check, I'm here. Because they just are so cozy, And no boundaries. I want you to know that boundaries are not exactly rules at all, because there's so many articles written out there. If you did want to go and read more in depth about boundaries versus rules, it's very interesting because I feel like a person that didn't take any time to really look at it would be like, oh, well, you're just creating a rule for yourself, which is, I feel like, an easy way to look at it. But actually, technically, there is a difference. But they aren't exactly rules, but boundaries, these are a set of decisions will work best for you and keep you from falling into giving too much or too little of yourself, which can lead to a negative headspace, right? When you just allow people to walk all over you and convince you to do this, that, and the other, or if maybe you have more hard boundaries, and if you want to really understand healthy versus soft versus hard boundaries, I encourage you to either look it up on the internet if you want to do your own research, or there are several episodes back in the catalog of the show that you are welcome to listen to, and it will really break it down for you. But anyway, yes, so, they're going to boundaries will help you so much. It's like these decisions that you've made. So it will keep you from doing too much or too little. And if you end up doing too much or too little, meaning you're not letting anyone in, you're not allowing any sort of like comfort or relationship or anything like that, it can really push you into a negative headspace, increased anxiety if you struggle with that, depression, all of these different things. And just to kind of go a little deeper into the whole boundaries versus rule thing, in case anyone out there is like, no, I've done all the research, they're not the same. I know, they're not the same. But it's kind of easy to think of like having a boundary for yourself as kind of your own personal rule, and rules can be flexible, but a rule is more definitive generally and usually is set for someone else. Like if you're like you have a rule in your home for people have to take their shoes off when they come in, right? Or if you have a rule for your kids where you're not allowed to have, a snack before a certain amount of time of dinner, that's a rule. But a boundary, we are created for your benefit. Boundaries are there to help you establish healthy relationships and lower your stress and make you feel better and not allow yourself to be taken advantage of, but also to allow yourself to really participate in those relationships and not just hide everything away. But I love rules. Again, let's go back to that. I love rules and boundaries because both of those set expectations from the jump, and that's comforting. It's really comforting. And I think, as I've told you before, it's super comforting for someone that struggles with control issues. I feel like I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better, right? I talk to my therapist every single week about it. I'm like, I'm getting better at this. And he's like, yes, of having less control. Even my husband likes to point it out though, and just in fun, but he's very much like, you're kind of like, he'll say it in a nice way. He's like, you're kind of being like a mama hen about it. And he says that about me for like work and stuff like that. And I'm like, I know, but I need to be there for the people. So anyway, but I do feel like that having rules for people that like to have control over things, it's because it's just like, or even like personal boundaries or boundaries for yourself. You're like, okay, I know what's expected here. I know what needs to be done. I know what shouldn't be done. And it's clean, it's cut, it's clear, it's dry. It's there. Okay. So let's just like, enough with the intro. You know me, I like to talk a lot and give you as much information and perspective as possible. But let's get into some boundaries we can set for ourselves that will help us become our best selves, as I always want to push us to do every single day, because boundaries are meant to help you, again, take care of yourself by managing stress, creating healthy relationships, taking care of yourself physically, and really taking the time to recognize what you need in your life to flourish. Because, again, we're going through different seasons of life. We'll have different problems and situations and experiences that could try to break us down and push us into that pit of despair that no one wants to be in. We want to be flourishing, even if that's like climbing out of the pit. And I know this is a podcast, but I'm literally miming that with my hands of like climbing out of the pit of despair. So here are 7 examples of boundaries you can set for yourself, and we will briefly go through them. Number 1, managing your finances properly with a budget and paying bills on time. I wanted to put this one at the beginning because I do know that a lot of people, even myself, not now because my husband is like super finances, like that's his thing. He knows all the things. But when I was younger, for sure, managing finances and having a budget and paying bills on time, I definitely struggled with it. I didn't really grow up with any adult figure that would teach me those things about finances at all whatsoever. If anything, I learned to just like spend money and worry about it later. Not good. Don't do that. But yes, so a boundary that you can set for yourself is definitely managing your finances. So have a budget. I know we like to joke about it, but don't be that person that's like, oh, I'm going to go to Target and Target tells me what I need. I don't tell Target what I need. And believe me, I've been through that scenario so many times. I will wander in, and it's the reason why they have that dollar section like right up front. And it's a reason why you see all those clothes, all the cute clothes, like before you actually get into the depth of the store and like buy light bulbs or lotion or the groceries way in the back. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I always tell myself, you know what? It's a good thing that they don't have like the really super cute home decor like right there, because I'd probably be buying more than that than buying like the cutest like sweater or sweatpants. My daughter loves sweatpants. As an impulse buy at Target. So anyway, managing your finances, create a budget. Do not impulse buy. Try really hard, especially if you like really know that you need a budget and you're continuing to overspend or overrun your credit cards, or you're not able to pay your bills because you're continuing to buy things that you don't need. Let's just have some real chat for a minute, okay? Really talk to yourself and be like, hey, maybe I'm overspending. Am I overspending? Am I overdoing this? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you have income to flex and have fun. That's totally cool. I get it. But should you be saving for something? Should you be putting money away for a rainy day? Honestly, in the economy that we're in right now, we never know what's going to happen. My husband keeps telling me that there's going to be a crash. I don't know, soon. And you should have something socked away for a rainy day, for something that happens, or maybe something happens to you, or maybe something happens to someone that you care about. And you want to be able to have something to help them, right? Whatever the scenario is, it's important for you to set a boundary for yourself to be responsible with your finances, have a budget for whatever is in your life, and pay your bills on time so that you can keep your credit in good standing. It's just a good way to be an adult. I know, adulting's hard. I get it. I totally get it. Number 2, oh man, as an adult, this one is really important. It is establishing a bedtime and wake up time and sticking to it. There's a pause there for me because it's like, when you're a kid and you just want to stay up all night and you want to sleep in and you don't really want to like abide by any sort of like bedtime, wake up times. But as an adult, I crave that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 9:30. Is it time to go to bed yet? Even though I'm more of a morning person than a night owl, I feel like it used to be the other way around. But I feel like I can kind of still do both, but usually by midnight, I'm like, I am done. Why am I still up? But establishing a bedtime and a wake-up time, especially if you work at home, especially if you work for yourself, and maybe you have a flexible schedule where you don't have to start work at a certain time and you don't necessarily have to end work at a certain time. It's important still to have a routine. Establishing a bedtime and a wake-up time should be implemented in your daily routine. Having a bedtime will really allow you to calculate having the right amount of hours of sleep for you to be a fully functioning human, not just half, not just 75%, but fully functioning, where you feel like you can rest, especially if you work out on the regular and exercise and all of that. You need the rest to repair and get your body ready for the next day and to continue to just work harder and harder the more that you're pushing it to the limit. Having a wake-up time is also important. Again, if you don't have to get up at a certain time, if you don't have any responsibilities, no kids, no spouse, no nothing that you have to deal with in the morning, then you could just find yourself sleeping in every single day. But then, how are you getting things done? You're like, oh, don't worry, I wake up at 11, and that's still morning time. Oh my gosh, I get it, but that would be so nice. I feel like even now, though, when I sleeping in is like, oh, I'm going to get up at 9:30 as opposed to 6. But it's important for you to have a wake-up time so that you can really plan out like what you want to do that day. Or even if you don't want to have a plan, just at least wake up, get yourself ready, enjoy the morning air, get a coffee or a tea, whatever you like, matcha, some people like that, and just really have this routine, because as soon as you establish when you're going to be awake and when you're going to go to bed, you will be able to fill in and trickle in things in your day, right? You'll also feel like you are being more productive and more purposeful if you are getting up at a certain time and deciding and making the decision, know that you need to go to bed at a certain time. You're doing something good for yourself and you're allowing yourself to have a more defined schedule to, again, have things trickle in when they need to, or to have a free day, to be able to do whatever you want, but you're still like awake and refreshed and you're ready to go, okay? Number 3, setting limits on how much you will work each week. This is for all my workaholics out there. I am not a workaholic. I don't think so. I like to work, and the job that I do right now, it's great. I enjoy it. It's very interesting to me. It's not something I ever thought I would be doing, but I do it and I like it. But I'm not a workaholic. It's very clear for me, like when I start work and when I end work. But I think it's because I have so many responsibilities as a mom and a wife, and I'm also chasing this desire to help people and do the podcast and build a website and hopefully start a coaching career. But I know that there are people out there that have really, really hard time, like telling themselves, okay, I need to stop working. And it's like 9 o'clock at night. And maybe you got up at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock and you started work and you've been working all day. Maybe you didn't even take a lunch break. It's important for you to set a boundary for yourself of how much you're going to work each week. So, a lot of people are like, well, don't answer work emails on the weekend. I feel like that's a good rule, but some industries and some jobs will require you to do that. And I get that. So what I want you to do is to think about, okay, well, if I am going to be committed to answering emails on the weekend, I kind of need to take a little bit of time out of my work week. So I still have downtime. I still have time to actually get any sort of personal chores done in my house. Maybe I have a family and I need to attend to them. Maybe I just have a partner or a spouse and I need to attend to them. Like whatever it is. Maybe you have a dog. We have a Doge and a cat. And so I want to spend time with them. So you can't overwork yourself, because I know we live in that hustle mindset where it's like go, go, go. But how much are you actually getting done by spending an extra hour doing it when you could have taken a break and then maybe just, created your schedule where you could have still gotten it done in a good amount of time and made it all work for you, so you don't feel like you're burning yourself out. You're getting overwhelmed. You're doing too much, okay? And I want you to know that you may be like, well, it's only for this season, Sabrina. It's not going to be forever. Okay, well, a lot of times when we get into the habit of doing something and we tell ourselves that it's not going to be forever, it's for a long time. Maybe not forever, but it's for a long time because we just get into it as a habit and think it's supposed to be a normal thing, and it's harder to break. So if you try to do that now and create a boundary for it by saying, I am not going to work more than, 50 hours instead of 60 hours this week, and really figuring that out and definitely having some downtime to yourself, it's a good start and it's a good move in the right direction. Number 4, avoiding people who hurt you, stress you out, influence the worst in you. Lately, I've been talking a lot about toxic people and how we need to stay away from them. Easier said than done, I understand. And maybe there's some people out there that are like, well, how is that hard? Like, just don't hang out with them. Okay, but one of the biggest reasons why I feel like this could be very difficult is if you lack any people in your life that are joyful, that are happy, that are positive influences, that aren't toxic. So if for some reason those are all the people in your circle, then it is really hard for you to step away from those relationships because you will feel like you don't have anyone else to spend time with. You won't have anyone else to lean on, and that's really tough. And it creates so much loneliness and sadness. But it is better to take a season to be alone, to work on yourself. It sounds so cliche, but do you. But it's true. Then continue to subject yourself to these toxic people and these relationships that aren't helping you, that are, again, hurting you, stressing you out, and influencing the worst in you, rather than, celebrating the good things that you're doing, encouraging you to be more positive, encouraging you to go after your dreams and be more confident and be yourself more, and also providing you the opportunity to instill those things in other people as well, which feels amazing. So I encourage you. I don't know, I just want to get that point out to you so strongly that I can't even get the words out. Stay away from toxic people. Try to end those relationships. It'll be better for you. Number 5, not participating in gossip or talking behind someone's back. This is kind of similar. If you're able to cut relationships with toxic people, Hopefully you'll be able to cut this habit as well. But this should definitely be a boundary for yourself. Participating in gossip and talking behind someone else's back, it's not productive. And how are you going to expect them to change and become better if you're not sharing this criticism with them, but just to someone else? Just talking bad about them, just gossiping, just like really sharing rumors and negative things about them. It's not helpful. It's not going to help that person become a better person. It's not going to change the situation in any way unless they hear the rumors, and even then it's probably won't affect them because they'll be upset or they'll be, resentful or whatever the feelings that they may be having. So it's important for you to just don't participate in it. Again, it's not productive. It's not helpful. It's one of those really gross habits that, yes, I fall victim to many times. I'm not perfect at all. I will tell you, I'll be the first person to tell you to stand on top of whatever and be like, hey, I'm not perfect at all. Don't look at me. Don't even for a minute think that I am. But it's definitely something we need to try really freaking hard to do because, again, it's not going to benefit you at all whatsoever. Not internally and definitely not externally to other people that are like, wow, ooh, yikes, why did you say that? Unnecessary. Number 6, taking rest and mental health days. This is really hard for me because I did do this actually. It's not happening until next week, but I did request off days to take rest and mental health days because literally every single day this week, well, except for today. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but today's a Thursday. So the first 3 days of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've had an anxiety attack every day. Really bad. And even my husband's like, wow, you really just need a break. And I'm like, I need a break. And so I decided to take off a couple days next week so that I'm able to give my mind that break, that rest, that it truly needs, that it's been demonstrated through that anxiety attack that I need it. It's necessary. It's not just me being dramatic. And the problem that I was going to allude to is that when people say they're going to take a rest day or a mental health day, people might think that you're being dramatic, when really we need to normalize the fact that people need mental health days. But I did read a tweet, it was like a Twitter conversation, and how someone else was feeling the same, but then also how it could definitely be taken advantage of if people are just all the time saying, I need a mental health day, and they really didn't need one. And then the people that really needed them would want them, but be afraid to ask for them because of some sort of negative company culture or anything like that. But regardless of what other people are going to think and say, if you need it, you have to take it. You have to be the one that puts yourselves first because no one else is going to put you first. And even if they are, super nice and sweet of them, but that's your responsibility. I am telling you this. It's your absolute responsibility to put yourself first. So take rest days, take mental health days. Maybe you don't want to RSVP to your friend's party. That's okay. Maybe they'll be a little hurt by it. But if you really, 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 really just need to stay home, then stay home. It's totally fine. I do it all the time because I need it. I need to be refreshed on my own or by my family. And that's what's important to me. And you need to do what's best for you. Okay? Number 7, we're at the end. I know. Sad, but probably good because we're going to wrap this up. So number 7, a boundary that you can set for yourself is taking time to process your emotions and honor your feelings. Talk about this all the time. It's important to not shove all your feelings in a box, under the stairs, behind everything else, under the rug, or to just be like, oh, they just disappear. I will give it to the people, though, that are able to just move past something so quickly. It's just 1 minute you're having a fight or they're upset, and the next minute they're like, okay, I'm great. I'm happy. I was literally telling my therapist this last week, and I was like, this is a gift. And he was like, I know, it's definitely a gift. It's a gift for people to just be able to just go from 0 to 100 or 100 to 0 rather. It's just it was there and then it's gone. But that's a gift. But I also think it's super important for you to process your feelings and your emotions, really understand, like, okay, well, why was I so upset? Or what triggered that anxiety attack? Or why am I continually feeling sad and lonely and depressed? And do I feel like there is something very specific triggering it? Or do I feel like I've just had these looming feelings over the past day, week, month? Do I need to seek more help? Like, do I need to talk to a professional to help me really figure out how I'm feeling? Or do I need to journal about it, or meditate, or pray, or whatever it is you prefer, or talk to a friend, someone that you really trust? But it's important to process your emotions and not just think that they're nothing. You need to process them. You need to understand them, because understanding your emotions will help you understand yourself better. And you need to honor your feelings, because your feelings are there for a reason, right? They're not just like willy-nilly, like out of the sky, no reason. There's a reason. And even if it's because of past hurt and pain, even if it's because of a trigger, even if it's because of a misunderstanding, communication issues, I've been there many times. Regardless, you need to honor your feelings and tell yourself it's okay that you're sad right now. But just don't, sit in that sadness for too long. It's okay if you're angry right now. You have a right to be angry about whatever. Like the other person that you're angry at, they don't have to give you permission for you to be angry at them. But you need to figure out what you need to do to change yourself from being angry to letting it go, or maybe forgiving them and just moving on, or whatever the case may be, right? You need to really honor the fact that those emotions that you're having, or whatever it is, it's okay. Even if you feel like you shouldn't be having those emotions anymore, like if someone's like, well, I don't understand why you're still sad about that. Perfect example. Last week was the death anniversary of my mom. She's been my mom. She's been my mom. She has been gone for 22 years, and that happened last weekend. And I did the thing that I do is I just ignored it. I spent the whole day with my daughter and her friend, went shopping, went out to dinner. It was fun. The next day was full of football, so again, I was distracted. And then those feelings came crashing down on Monday this week. But it's been 22 years. And so some people will be like, well, how are you still that affected? How are you still that sad about this? I just am. There's definitely years where it doesn't faze me at all. And then there's years like this year where it just totally broke me down. But there's so many other factors in that, and things that I was thinking about. The fact that I miss my mom and she's been gone for so long. And for the fact that the first 5 years of her being gone, 5 to 7 years actually, I definitely did hide those emotions and feelings and pretend it like they weren't there, because I needed to be strong for myself. It wasn't the right thing to do. I should have had therapy, but I didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to enjoy high school, enjoy college, live my life, and not wallow in the sadness of my mom being gone and not having a mother figure. It kind of sucked, but that's just an example of, it's been 22 years and it still affects me that way. And I want you to know that if something has happened to you, it happened like a year ago, 10 years ago, 20, 50, whatever, and it's still affecting you, make you sad, or make you feel whatever kind of way, that's okay. Don't let anyone tell you differently, or that it shouldn't anymore, or that there's some sort of statute of limitations on you feeling a certain way. There's not. There's not. It doesn't matter what it is. You can still feel the way you want. It's just a matter of not sitting in those emotions that will negatively affect you, or not allow you to continue with your life, continue to better yourself, continue to do what you need to do, right? So process them, honor them, and then figure out how you can move forward. Not get over it or move on, just move forward, right? Okay, you guys, well, that's all 7. I hope that this has been super helpful. I hope going through these examples of boundaries you can set for yourself has been helpful and will lead to creating a list of your own, or just using these ones that I've mentioned here. So hopefully you will understand that setting boundaries for yourself is so helpful, so beneficial, I promise you. But thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I really appreciate you listening, downloading, sharing the show. Fantastic, guys. You guys are amazing. Again, send me a DM on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Barroso. I'd love to hear from you, become friends online, chit chat, take your feedback, take your comments, and even suggestions. Or if you have prayer requests, I can do that too. Or you can send me an email at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. All of that information, again, is in the show notes below. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.